Dreaming of a better sleep? Tossing and turning is not your destiny. And Ollie is here to help. Ollie invites you to sink into sweet, sweet slumber to improve your mental and physical health and overall wellness. More than just melatonin, Ollie's ingredients help you unwind your mind for a delightfully dreamy drift off. Sleep is on the way at Ollie.com. That's OLLY.com.
I was one betting of Deicide, and you're listening to the Brutally Delicious Podcast.
1, 2, 3, 4. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast.
Yo, how we doing?
Good. How are you, Glenn?
Good, huh, man? How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm Bruce. That's my partner, Grant. He's over in the UK.
Okay, dude. So, how you doing?
Fucking
Good.
awesome, man. It's an honor to fucking talk to you, man. It really is.
Thank you.
Do you have video by chance or no?
No, man, that's all disabled down here.
Oh, no worries at all. We'll take it for what it is. Hey, thanks for joining me. I know you're busy and you're doing press all day, but we could just jump right in if you want.
Yeah, I actually just got done rehearsing a little while ago, man. So my ears are still ringing a little bit, so bear with me.
You guys still play it that loud in the rehearsal room?
Oh yeah.
No chance of turning it down and going that way, huh? You got to feel it?
Yeah, man. I'm old school. I like to feel my music. I want to feel the bass. And, I like playing out of a real amplifier, not a pedal.
No, I get you. So let's talk about the 13th record here, Banished by Sin.
Right.
How did you ever? You couldn't possibly have imagined you'd be 13 albums into this and still being at the top of your game. Now that it's done, how do you feel about it? And are you satisfied with the outcome?
Man, we were done with it a year ago. It's been sitting, waiting to be released. The record company's been doing their thing in that, because they're getting their foot in the, foothold in that with being a new label and that. So it's been done for a while. We've had a long time to live with it, and been shoot the videos and everything for it and that. But
right.
I'm really happy about it because I was able to have a little bit more artistic control this time as far as the production and how we went about it and the whole process and being able to keep it a more real sound, using more live mic sounds on the drums instead of samples, and just going for like a live demo sound. Yeah, man, it really worked out because it's got, it's got a taste of that old school 90s Tampa sound to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And which is going to sort of bring me to my next question. You guys have been around for so long and you're, so far elevated in the scene. Do you feel a sort of responsibility to the other death metal musicians, or at least the Florida side of it? Because you're kind of like at the top of the heap there, right?
Well, every time you do it, man, you always want to represent, obviously, you know what I mean? So, yeah, we definitely, do I keep anybody in mind when I'm doing this? I know I'm selfish, man. I'm only thinking about myself, but obviously I want, I want it to go over and that. So it's kind of like, I'm just one of them type of people that just does what he does and, and just be myself. I'm just trying to be myself and do my own thing. And that's how it, translates.
All right, fair enough.
Fucking
and then
awesome,
we were here to talk one last one. I'm going to give it to Grant, but we were here to talk about the Metal Beer Festival. That's pretty exciting, right? And you get to try out these new songs.
We're not playing any new stuff at the beer festival. So we're playing a first album, second album, third album montage of songs off of the first 3 albums.
Fair enough.
Do we have new songs ready? Yeah.
Not going to be played then, though.
The record won't be out then, so we're going to play new stuff, I believe, at the Milwaukee Metal Festival this year.
Oh, sweet. Right on. Grant, take it away.
Awesome. Glenn, you mentioned that before about artistic control, and your intensity as an artist is one of the reasons that I'm such a huge fan, especially the way that you've chosen your artistic direction, both musically and with your album covers. You know, obviously some of them have got a lot of hysteria going on and that kind of thing, but the album cover artwork is always really, really on point. We're stepping into a world now where AI is really, really intruding on literature, on music, and, you know, on art, on everything. What do you feel about the precedence that's been set with like AI art and the way it's interfering with what we do as artists?
Well, it's like, you know, people don't understand, man. Like, it's like the album cover that we did. It was done with Photoshop and with some AI, but it's like, it's a more modern version. You know what? We're just being with, it's like Legion. When I did the Legion album cover, computers were still fucking new. Nobody knew anything about 3D, 3-dimensional artwork or any shit like that. And I was like the first person to even fucking fuck with that. And when I did design the Legion album cover, okay, now I've been in the computers and all that shit since they all came about, you know what I mean? So I'm maybe ahead of a lot of people when it comes to, you know, computers. I have 2 iMacs and a MacBook Pro and iPad Pro. So I'm a little versed with the whole computer age and in Photoshop and all that stuff and that. And I like to do something different and provocative. And I know the whole AI thing, everybody's, you know, but it was meant to stir, you know what I mean? People don't understand. It's like, it's a modernization of, you know, it's a sign of the time that we're in. People just can't, their first thing is like, oh, he's trying to put all of us artists out of work, and, you know, I'll be stuck drawing penises in men's bathrooms for the rest of my life, you know. So everybody's, you know, up in arms and, you know, thinking that this is the end of the fucking world. And, you know, it's really ridiculous, man, when it's just a form of art and expression, you know what I mean? So I think people should just really, you know, stop being ridiculous and accept it for what it is, man. It's a sign of the times. I don't do the same album artwork over and over and over again. And I don't use these scribble artists to create these logos that you cannot read or make out. And, you know, I'm just not into that shit. All these wannabe Rembrandts and shit, man. I'm just, you know what? It's like I design artwork around the whole thing, man. And I don't take other people's feelings or their ideas, or I don't sit here and think, well, what's this blue-haired kid in Nebraska going to think about the album cover? I do what I do because I like it, and I don't give a shit what anybody else thinks. So if it pisses people off, and it's really more like these bandwagon little shitheads, they don't want to jump on the bandwagon. But here's the thing, how hypocritical it is, because my art was being stolen and stepped all over in the 90s. Metallica seen it coming. They tried to stop it. But, you know, all these wannabe, you know, mercenaries for artists and all these idiots out there, they were the same people right there stealing my art back then. You know what I mean? So where were all you guys at to defend my art being stolen and taken advantage of? So all I did was just did an album cover, really, that just focused on the whole modernization of the modern time, and really, it's just a reflection of the age that we're in right now. So people are just you know, like I say, man, I can't spend my days trying to explain this. You know, I was saying I don't try to convince stupid as dumb, and I don't try to convince dumb as stupid. You know what I mean? So I just let it do its thing and piss people off. I have a great time, you know, with it. You know, it's hilarious, you know, because it is what it is, man. It's meant to, you know, it's meant to stir the shit kettle, and that's what I do. You know?
That's beautiful.
Hey, this is Steve Choi, host of the Musicians Guild podcast, part of the Sound Talent Media podcast network. Within the four walls of the Musicians Guild, we'll be discussing the habits, idiosyncrasies, experiences, and general psychology of my friends and peers, all involved with music in various capacities. Listen and subscribe at soundtalentmedia.com.
Glenn, that the intensity with which you've said that is one of the reasons that I admire you most. I'm absolutely over the moon that you've said what you've just said. You guys have always had a lot of controversy and fear around you. You know what I mean? You guys have been absolutely prolific at it. I'm a bit younger than you. I discovered music in the mid-90s, and I'd open up the press and go, oh, what the fuck? He's going to commit suicide. And, you know, there's people that are so fucking scared of you that they were trying to plant bombs and kids and that kind of
There's
stuff.
a lot of record company hype, man. Yeah, a lot of record company hype back then. Yeah.
And more than likely, I don't doubt that for a second, mate. What I was going to ask is, in relation to controversy, in relation to fear, you guys obviously embrace that as artists. Do you think that in the modern age where everybody's got a camera and everything's recorded, we're losing, musicians and artists are losing their ability to be controversial and have that air of mystique around them? You know, did they really say this? Did they really do that? We can't have it anymore.
Yeah, which kind of, you know, it really, man, I really don't put too much thought into it, you know, but yeah, you know, you go out there on stage and you got, you know, 1,000 cell phones pointed at you and everybody's, you know, does it take away? Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean, but it also, you know, I mean, it really, man, I mean, it's a double-edged blade, you know. And nobody wants to be captured on stage, thrown up or passing out. Or, you know what I mean? So it's like, because they'll just, you know, it's a real, you know, we live in a really fucked up world where people just, you know, make a living off of other people's strife and embarrassing moments and shit. You know, it's unfortunate.
Thank you very much for that, mate. I'm echoing what you felt there as well. I saw you in Glasgow last year. Absolutely overwhelmed. I was a little bit pissed off by how many people were holding up phones and streaming it and that kind of thing without enjoying the gig. My last question is, at that gig, I went along and it wasn't a lot of like kids there that are just trying to be extreme for the sake of being extreme. A lot of your audience had grown with you. You know, there's a lot of guys my age. There's a lot of guys older than me that have obviously been fans of yours since the early days, you know, right through the 90s, you know, Once Upon the Cross and Legion and all of that kind of thing. That age group of men, that age group of fans, and indeed mine, yours, and Bruce's as well, there's a lot of publicity about a lot of guys that are fucking seeing some really dark shit, man. You know what I mean? Where we are, men of our age, there's a hell of a lot of fucking depression and suicide and all of this kind of awful crap. Do you have any thoughts on what's causing that and what you would say to any fans that are staring into that darkness?
I would say that suicide is for cowards, you know. That's how I've always run my thing, you know. The whole comments about suicide at 33, all that shit, that was just a bunch of stupid drunk talk as kids, man. You know what I mean? And what it was, we were talking was, you know, the whole conversation about Jesus being 33 and all this shit. So it was said out of jest, but this writer took it to fucking heart to make it sound like so. For all my life now, I've been having to listen to that horse shit from people. And but anyways, I would say this, man. I don't know. As far as like, I'm not like familiar with people, you know, and the whole, you know, what's going on and, you know, out there with people our age or whatever and that. But the world is a fucked up place, man. We live in a really fucked up world. All right. With there's one thing that we can be certain of, and that is uncertainty. You know, that's the world we live in.
Yeah.
Well, Glenn,
beautiful, man. Thank you for that.
You're welcome, brother.
Glenn, I appreciate you taking the time. I told Andy I would keep it to 20, so here we are. I appreciate you taking the time. Longtime fans here. Glenn, thank you so much for taking the time.
Awesome, man. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you for your contribution.
Thank you.
Take care, guys. Stay strong.
Talk to you soon. Be well. So great. I'm glad you took it in. That was good, right?
Oh, absolutely, man. After the intensity about the artwork question, I second guessed whether to ask him about suicide and mental health and that kind of thing. But that bit at the end, you know, the world is a fucked up place and the only thing that's certain is uncertainty. That's absolute fucking gold.
That whole interview was great.
Yeah. I can't thank you enough, mate. And I'm really glad that me and you worked the way that we did there.
Hey, this is Mike Wiebe, and I'm the singer in a band called the Riverboat Gamblers.
And I'm Zach Blair. I play guitar in a band called Rise Against. Mike and I also have a band called the Draculas, and we also have this great, amazing new podcast called Zach and Mike Make 3.
Yeah, each week we're going to ask ourselves and we're going to ask our guests what 3 favorite things they are into at that moment or in their entire lives. And then we're either going to agree with them or we're going to make fun of them. And you're going to listen to it and you're going to like it, or we will make fun of you. How about that? I just flipped it on you, the person listening to this right now. But we're going to do it every week here on the Sound Talent Network. Once again, it's called Zach and Mike Make 3.
Yeah.